They held a vote to remove me from the family and said, "You don't fit in." So I left without warning and became the millionaire who just foreclosed on their family home. Before I continue with today's story, I'd love for you to support our channel. And while you're at it, drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. We love seeing how far our stories travel. I still remember the exact sound of my mother's hand hitting the mahogany table. 3 sharp raps that silenced the room. All in favor of removing Jasmine from family gatherings, say I. 7 voices. 7 people I'd loved my entire life. My sister Keisha smirked across the table, her freshly done acrylics tapping against her wine glass. My brother Marcus wouldn't even look at me. Aunt Diane, who I'd helped through her divorce, who'd sobbed on my couch for months, raised her hand with everyone else. "You don't fit in anymore, Jazzy," my mother said, using that childhood nickname like it would soften the blow. "Ever since you got that fancy job, you've been different. Acting like you're better than us. I brought wine to dinner last week and you called me bougie," I said, my voice cracking. The bottle had cost $15 from Trader Joe's. "See? That attitude right there," my cousin Shanice chimed in. "Always gotta mention where you shop, what you do. We're tired of feeling small around you." I'd been paying my mother's mortgage for 2 years. Nobody knew. I'd covered Marcus's legal fees when he got that DUI. $7,000. Keisha's car payment when she lost her job. Me. Every birthday, every holiday, every emergency. I showed up with my wallet open and my mouth shut. "This is really happening?" I whispered. My father, who'd been silent, finally spoke. "The family has spoken. Maybe it's time you find your own people. People on your level." His words dripped with resentment I'd never heard before. I grabbed my purse and walked out. I didn't cry. Not yet. My phone buzzed continuously for 3 days. Not apologies, requests. Marcus needed money for rent. Keisha wanted me to co-sign for an apartment. My mother's text simply read, "Bring potato salad to Sunday dinner." Like nothing happened. Like they hadn't voted me out of existence. I sat in my downtown Atlanta loft, staring at my phone. My best friend Tasha had flown in from Houston after I told her what happened. "Girl, they're insane," she said, pouring us both wine, the expensive kind I'd stopped bringing to family dinners. "They think I changed," I said. "Maybe I did. You grew up. That's different." Tasha squeezed my hand. "Remember where you came from, Jazz? Your mama's house indicator with the leaking roof? You worked 3 jobs to put yourself through Georgia State. You didn't get lucky. You earned everything." I'd started as a data analyst making $42,000 a year. 5 years of grinding, night classes, networking events where I was the only black woman in the room. Now I was a senior director at a tech company, pulling in $230,000 annually plus stock options. They called me bougie for bringing Trader Joe's wine. I laughed bitterly. "And you're paying their bills while they do it." Tasha pulled up my banking app. "Look at this. You've sent your family over $60,000 in 2 years. Seeing it itemized made my stomach turn. My mother's mortgage, $1,800 monthly. Marcus's legal fees, his car payments, his child support when he came up short. Keisha's endless emergencies. Family dinners I'd funded. Christmas gifts I'd bought for everyone. "I'm done," I said. Sunday dinner happened without me. My cousin Shanice posted photos. My entire family gathered around my mother's dining table laughing. The caption read, "Family time hits different when everyone's energy matches." 43 likes. Keisha commented, "Finally drama-free." I blocked them all. Monday morning I called my bank. "I need to stop all recurring payments," I told the representative. My mother's mortgage, Marcus's car note, the credit card I'd given Keisha for emergencies, that showed charges at nail salons and restaurants. All of it gone. The first call came Tuesday. Keisha hysterical. My card declined at Target. What did you do? I'm not family anymore, remember? Figure it out. I hung up. Marcus called Wednesday angry. Mom got a late notice on the mortgage. You've been paying it. For 2 years. Silence. Then, well, you can't just stop. She'll lose the house. The family voted. Those were Dad's words. Find my own people. So I did. My voice was steady cold. I'd practiced this moment. You're being petty, he snapped. I'm being removed, Marcus. You all made that decision. Thursday my mother called. Not apologizing, demanding. Jasmine Nicole Pierce, you need to fix whatever you did to that mortgage payment. The bank called me today. I don't fit in anymore, remember? This is childish. Family doesn't abandon family over one disagreement. The audacity. The sheer, breathtaking audacity. You held a vote, Mama. You literally voted to remove me from family gatherings. That's not a disagreement. That's exile. We didn't mean the financial stuff. There was the truth. My phone rang 67 times that week. I counted. I answered none of them. Tasha stayed through the weekend researching my mother's mortgage situation. Jess, look at this. She turned her laptop toward me. Public records showed my mother had refinanced the house 3 times in 10 years. The current balance was $280,000 on a house worth maybe $190,000 in that neighborhood. She's underwater, I whispered. And she's 3 months behind even with your payments. You were basically paying the minimum while she racked up other debt. I felt sick. I'd been enabling financial chaos while they resented me for having my life together. My phone buzzed. Aunt Diane. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Jasmine, baby, I'm sorry. Her voice cracked. I didn't know about the mortgage, about Marcus's stuff. Keisha just told me yesterday. She was bragging about the credit card. You still voted to remove me. I know, baby. I know. She sobbed. Shanice kept talking about how you looked down on us. How you never struggled like we did. I believed her. I'm so sorry. I worked 3 jobs through college, Aunt Diane. You know that. I do. God, I do. Shanice has been poisoning everyone against you for months. She's jealous. Her husband left her, she's broke and seeing you succeed. Diane trailed off. That's no excuse. We should have protected you. But you didn't. No. We didn't. I hung up. One apology didn't fix 7 votes. That night I made a decision that would change everything. My mentor, Patricia Chin, listened silently as I explained the situation over coffee at our usual spot in Midtown. She was a managing director at an investment firm, the woman who'd pushed me to negotiate my current salary, who'd taught me that money was power. What do you want, Jasmine? She asked finally. I want them to understand, I said. They think success just happened to me. They think I'm different now, better than them. They have no idea what I sacrificed. Patricia stirred her latte slowly. Your mother's house is in foreclosure? Not yet. But it will be. She's 4 months behind now. The bank will auction it eventually. Patricia's eyes gleamed. Real estate investment is something you've been interested in learning, correct? Understanding hit me like lightning. I can't. Can't you? She pulled out her phone, showing me her investment portfolio. I own 17 properties in Metro Atlanta. I buy distressed assets all the time. It's just business. That's my childhood home. That's a house your family used you to keep while simultaneously rejecting you. There's poetry in taking ownership of what you've already paid for. My hands shook. This was crazy. This was vindictive. This was perfect. I'll need capital, I said. You have stock options worth $500,000. Cash them out. I'll walk you through the foreclosure auction process. Patricia smiled. And Jasmine? Don't feel guilty. They made their choice. You're just making yours. Over the next month, I became a student of real estate foreclosure law. Georgia's process was quick, just 37 days from foreclosure notice to auction. My mother would get warnings, opportunities to cure the debt. She wouldn't take them. She'd expect me to cave. I wouldn't. The foreclosure notice hit my mother's door on a Tuesday in March. Keisha called me 17 times that day. I was in a board meeting, presenting a proposal that would earn my company $8 million in new contracts. Success tastes sweeter when people who doubted you can't reach you. That evening I finally checked my voicemails. Keisha's voice was panicked. Jazz, Mama got a foreclosure notice. They're gonna take the house. You have to fix this. Call me back. Marcus's message was angrier. I know you're behind this somehow. This is low even for you. Mama's crying. You happy now? My mother didn't call. Pride probably. The same pride that let her family vote out her daughter. Shanice's voicemail surprised me. Look, I know we had issues, but this is serious. Your mama needs help. Stop being vindictive and be family. I deleted them all. Tasha had moved into my guest room temporarily after her divorce finalized. She'd witnessed the entire transformation. Me evolving from hurt daughter to strategic investor. You really doing this? She asked. They taught me family is conditional, I said. I'm just applying the lesson. The auction date was set for April 15th. 6 weeks away. I liquidated my stock options, $473,000 after taxes. Patricia connected me with her attorney Marcus Webb. No relation to my brother, thankfully. He was a sharp black man from Stone Mountain who specialized in foreclosure purchases. Your family will hate you for this, Marcus Webb said matter-of-factly during our consultation. They already do. At least this way I'll own something. He smiled. I like you. Let's make sure you win this auction. My father showed up at my office building. Security called me before letting him up. There's a Mr. Jerome Pierce here to see you. He's quite insistent. I could have said no. Should have maybe. But curiosity won. I met him in the lobby, not my office. He didn't deserve to see what I'd built. He looked older. Tired. His mechanic's uniform had oil stains, and his hands shook slightly as he approached. Jasmine. Jerome. I didn't call him Dad. That privilege died with their vote. Your mama's gonna lose the house. I'm aware. You can stop it. One phone call, one payment. His eyes were desperate. I know we messed up. You held a vote to remove me from the family. My voice echoed in the marble lobby. People stared. I didn't care. You said I needed to find my own people. So I did. Those people taught me that money talks and bullshit walks. We didn't mean. Yes, you did. I stepped closer. You meant every word. You resented my success because it highlighted your failures. Easier to push me out than deal with your own insecurities. That's not fair. Neither was 7 votes, Jerome. He flinched. What do we do? Pay your mortgage. Get a loan. Sell the house yourselves and pocket the equity. Or don't. Either way, I'm done funding delusions that I'm the problem. I turned to leave. You've become cold, he called after me. I looked back. No. I became free. Security escorted him out. I went back to work like nothing happened. But my hands shook through 3 meetings. Shanice showed up at my apartment on a rainy Saturday. The doorman called up and something made me say yes. Maybe I wanted to hear her grovel. Maybe I was still naive enough to think reconciliation was possible. She looked rough. Hair undone, no makeup, wearing a stained Georgia State sweatshirt. Can I come up? I buzzed her in. My loft intimidated people. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown, modern furniture, art I'd collected from local black artists. Shanice stood in the doorway, dripping rain, looking small. "Nice place," she said quietly. "What do you want, Shanice?" She collapsed onto my couch without invitation, crying. "I ruined everything. It was me. I started the rumors. I convinced everyone you thought you were better. I poisoned them against you." "I know." She looked up, shocked. "Aunt Diane told you?" "I figured it out myself. You've been jealous since I got promoted 3 years ago." I sat across from her, not offering comfort. "What I don't know is why I'm the villain for succeeding." "Because I'm 34 and live in my mama's basement," she exploded. "Because my husband left me for a white woman half his age. Because I'm broke and miserable and you're not." She gestured around. "You have everything I wanted. I worked for this. I worked too. I have a degree. I did everything right and life still shit on me." Her voice cracked. "And you just glided through. Got the job, got the money, got the life. It wasn't fair. So you destroyed my family relationships to feel better?" Silence. "The foreclosure auction is in 3 weeks," I said coldly. "Why are you really here?" Shanice's confession didn't stop the gathering my mother organized at Aunt Diane's house. I wasn't invited. I found out from Diane, who'd been secretly calling to update me. She'd become my inside source, drowning in guilt. "They're planning an intervention," Diane whispered over the phone. "They want to force you to pay the mortgage. Keisha's talking about showing up at your job. Let them try." I'd already warned building security. But Diane convinced me to attend one final family meeting. "They need to hear the truth, Jazz. All of it. And you need to say it to their faces." Saturday night, I walked into Aunt Diane's living room in my best suit, the navy Tom Ford I'd worn to close a major deal. Power dressing, Patricia called it. Armor. 13 family members sat there. My mother, father, both brothers. Marcus and his younger brother Devin, who'd been silent through everything. Keisha and her 3 kids. Shanice. Various aunts, uncles, cousins. All staring at me like I was the problem. "Thank you for coming," my mother started. "I'm not here to be lectured," I interrupted. "I'm here to speak. Then I'm leaving." "Jasmine. $1,800 monthly for 2 years. That's $43,200 for your mortgage, Mama. Marcus, $7,000 for your DUI lawyer. Another $9,000 in car payments you missed. Keisha, $12,000 on that credit card you thought was a gift. Devin, I paid for your community college tuition. $6,000. Christmas, birthdays, Easter dinners I funded. Another $8,000 minimum." I pulled out printed bank statements, laying them on the coffee table. "Numbers don't lie. That's over $85,000 in 2 years. And you voted me out because I brought the wrong wine." The room was silent. My father picked up the bank statements, his hands shaking. Marcus's face had gone gray. "You never said," my mother started. "Because family helps family, right? That's what you taught me." I laughed bitterly. But apparently I stopped being family when my help came with success attached. Keisha stood up. "You used money to control us." I never mentioned it once. Not one time did I hold it over anyone's head. "You didn't even know, Keisha. You thought that credit card was free money." My voice rose. "I helped because I loved you. And you repaid me with resentment." Devin, my youngest brother, spoke for the first time. "I didn't know, Jazz, about any of this. Nobody told me you paid for school." "Because they were embarrassed," I said. "Easier to hate me than admit they needed me." Shanice stood, tears streaming. "I told them you said they were beneath you, that you called Mama's house ghetto, and laughed about their jobs. I made it all up." The room erupted. Accusations flew at Shanice. My mother screamed. Marcus lunged toward Shanice before Devon held him back. I just watched. My family tearing itself apart, finally seeing the truth. The auction is in 2 weeks, I said quietly, cutting through the chaos. The house will sell. Maybe I'll buy it. Maybe someone else will. Either way, I'm done being your bank and your scapegoat. We can fix this, my father said desperately. Family therapy will work it out. You can't vote someone out and then vote them back in when it's convenient, Jerome. That's not how life works. I walked out. Behind me, the screaming continued. April 15th arrived with perfect weather. 72 degrees, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. The kind of day that makes you believe in new beginnings. The courthouse steps were crowded. Investors, lawyers, desperate homeowners hoping for miracles. I stood in the back wearing sunglasses, baseball cap, casual clothes. Patricia stood beside me along with Marcus Webb, my attorney. Your mother's here, Patricia murmured. I'd spotted her. She stood with my father, Keisha, and Marcus looking terrified. They hadn't seen me yet. The auctioneer started promptly at 10. Property at 2847 Candler Road, Decatur. Starting bid $50,000. My childhood home where I'd learned to ride a bike, where Grandma had taught me to bake, where I'd studied for the SATs at the kitchen table. Reduced to a starting bid. 50,000, someone called. 60, another voice. I waited. Patricia had coached me. Don't bid early. Let them exhaust themselves. The price climbed. 70, 80, 90,000. I watched my mother's face crumble with each increase. 120,000, a man in a cheap suit called. Probably a flipper. Silence. The auctioneer began his countdown. Going once. 200,000, I called clearly. Everyone turned. My mother's eyes found me. Recognition, then shock, then something like betrayal. The irony. 200,000 on the floor, the auctioneer said. Do I hear 210? Silence. 200,000 was 15,000 over value. No investor would go higher. Going once, going twice, sold to bidder 847 for $200,000. I just bought my childhood home. My mother collapsed. My father caught her. Keisha screamed something I couldn't hear. I turned and walked away. The story exploded on family group chats I was no longer part of, but Aunt Diane kept me updated. Screenshots, voice notes, the whole digital drama. Marcus, she's evil. Dead to me. Keisha, Mama's in the hospital. Heart problems. This is Jazz's fault. Cousin after cousin weighed in. Some defended me. Diane, Devon, a few others who'd stayed quiet during the vote. Most condemned me. But something unexpected happened. The story leaked beyond the family. Someone posted it to Reddit, then Twitter. Woman who was voted out of family buys their house in foreclosure. It went viral. 30,000 likes. 40,000. Headlines in local news. Atlanta woman's ultimate revenge. The comments were split. Some called me petty, vindictive, cruel. Others called me a hero. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. One comment read. They literally voted her out, then expected her to pay their bills? My inbox flooded with interview requests. I declined them all except one. A podcast called Family Dynamics, hosted by a therapist named Dr. Keisha Moore. Why did you do it? She asked during our recorded session. Because they needed to learn that actions have consequences, I said. They didn't vote me out because I changed. They voted me out because I reminded them of what they refused to become. And I was tired of funding their resentment. The episode got 2 million downloads. Messages poured in from people with similar stories. Family members who'd been used, discarded, expected to sacrifice without appreciation. I'd accidentally started a movement. My mother left voicemails. You embarrassed us. The whole internet is laughing at us. Are you happy now? Still no apology. Just shame that they'd been exposed. 6 months later, I stood in the renovated house on Candler Road. I'd spent $80,000 updating it. New kitchen, new floors, modern bathrooms. It was beautiful. And it was mine. Not for living in. I'd never do that. It's that I'd done something better. I'd turned it into a transitional house for young Black women aging out of foster care. Partnered with a local nonprofit, created a scholarship fund from the rental income. The first resident, a 19-year-old named Destiny, was starting at Georgia State in the fall, studying computer science. This house has a second chance, I told Destiny as she moved into what used to be my childhood bedroom. So do you. The irony wasn't lost on me. The family that rejected me had their house become a place that built up women who'd been rejected. My father showed up one afternoon. I was there supervising furniture delivery. He looked older, smaller somehow. I heard what you did with the house, he said quietly. It's good. Real good. Thank you. Your mama's sorry. She won't say it, but she is. That's not good enough, Jerome. I know. He stepped closer. I'm sorry too. For the vote. For not standing up for you. For making you feel like your success was something to apologize for. I felt tears coming. I blinked them back. I needed to hear that 2 years ago. I know. But I'm saying it now. His voice cracked. I miss my daughter. We stood there, two people separated by decisions that couldn't be undone. I'd bought forgiveness for myself. I didn't know if I could afford to give it. I'm not ready, I said finally. Maybe someday. But not today. He nodded, accepting what he couldn't change. As he left, I watched from the porch of my house. The house I'd saved by letting it go. My phone rang. Girl, the nonprofit wants to expand the program to 3 more houses. They're offering you a board position. I smiled. Set up the meeting. Revenge, I'd learned, wasn't about destruction. It was about building something better from the ashes of what tried to burn you. They'd voted me out and I'd voted myself into a life they couldn't diminish. I was no longer the girl who needed their approval. I was the woman who'd foreclosed on their limitations and built equity in myself. And that was worth more than any family dinner ever could be.